Welcome back to Digital Champions on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Mike White, and on Digital Champions, we are meeting with the experts in the industry, talking about programmatic, display, all the great campaigns and tactics that they do to help their clients' campaigns grow. Joining us today, we have Marc Lefton from Northarc Media. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
And welcome to Florida. So you came down from New York. When did you move down to Gainesville, Florida?
It was about 5 years ago.
So you're used to the humidity and the heat by now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as bad in New York, just not for as long.
So tell me about Northarc and what value proposition you give your customers.
So Northarc was kind of formed out of two agency brands that we currently own. One is Statecraft Digital, which focuses on political campaigns, and the other is Schoolcraft Digital, which focuses on enrollment marketing for boarding schools. And we kind of had a need for a holding company that could just do anything. So some of the political clients would maybe be head of an office now, but they couldn't hire a politically oriented agency to do something for the government, or we just had general clients that just didn't fit anywhere. So it kind of came out of, we have mechanisms that work. We had a great programmatic team, creative team, and we kind of wanted to expand our offering to have stuff for anything. And we've mostly kind of focused on startups and stuff in the health tech space so far.
Where do you see the biggest changes coming in how people buy their media over the next 2 years?
I think everyone keeps talking about the death of cookies. It's something that I find has been actually one of the most challenging things I've come across in my career, because I feel like every 6 months you have to kind of reinvent yourself. The things you were doing in the past don't work anymore, and you have to keep adjusting. But in this case, I feel like it's still so not entirely clear what the solution is. There's some really enterprise level stuff that doesn't work as well for smaller brands, and there's a lot of players saying we have something but not yet. So we're monitoring the situation. But I think the good news is that the types of changes that we'll have to make will make us all better marketers.
So when it comes to buying programmatic, some of those things that people say are available or coming but not yet, what are your biggest pain points when it comes to buying programmatic media currently?
I would say just trying to figure out for every different client what the appropriate spot for it is in the funnel. It's really great for reaching a very micro-targeted audience with all the different data points you wouldn't have available on Facebook or Google. It's really great for retargeting traffic with maybe some expandable banners or some sort of engaging creative or native advertising to tell a story. But I think convincing clients that they need to be in it for the long haul and tell a story over a period of time versus they're going to run ads and magically people are going to go buy a $50,000 a year tuition, or be completely convinced that their candidate's the right one, or just even sign up to buy something online after a couple of interactions even is unrealistic. And coordinating that with Facebook and analytics and everything like that to make sure that there's the story is being told across all channels and not just using programmatic as a hammer and trying to find a nail everywhere.
Are you familiar with structured versus unstructured data when it comes to buying programmatic? There's platforms that basically take third parties and put together the data. Others have the unstructured, all the data points that they make up their own segments as opposed to reselling segments. Do you deal with that at all?
Yeah, we work with that a lot on the political side, especially when we're looking for very specific types of audiences in interesting geographies. So because of gerrymandering, you can't just necessarily say we're going to target these zip codes because there's too much overlap. So we might be looking for really interesting blends of voter types and behaviors in really specific geographies, like that have some sort of very weird shape.
So what excites you most about the industry that you're in?
I think it's the opportunity to constantly learn. I actually started because I taught myself how to use the Macintosh and was started as a graphic designer. I remember everything was done by hand when I first started, and this art director drew a line and on his T-square, and he said, "I just did that. It's going to take you all this time to go on the computer and make a line and print it out. I'm faster than you. You'll never. This will never take over the industry." And I always remembered that, and I didn't want to be his age, 20 years in the future, and saying, "Oh, TikTok's never going to be a thing," or "I don't need to learn it." I love to learn new things, and it's something that just keeps my passion going because the industry constantly changes.
So do you still have a MySpace account?
Not that I know of.
It's kind of like certain banks, they open up accounts for you. You might not be aware you got them, but so that's important though. So why should a company hire an outside firm such as yours as opposed to trying doing it all in-house?
So what we find is the two niches that we're in, and especially on the school side, they're the people who work there are not necessarily digital marketers with a capital D. They're admissions people. They understand how to, once someone's interested in their school, guide a family through the process, for example. And the old way of doing things is a lot of print. It was a lot of going to trade shows and conferences and going overseas and finding people from other countries who wanted to learn about their school. And with COVID, they couldn't do that anymore. And all of a sudden, digital really became a thing in an industry where I would say they just did a lot of random acts of marketing. They tried some Facebook ads. It wasn't connected to anything else, didn't really work. And they said, well, that didn't work. We kind of come in with if you think of us as architects, before you even build a house, you need to have a plan. You need to know where all the rooms are and how big it's going to be and how much it's going to cost. We put together that whole plan for them, and we do it for the entire year. So we'll do a reach campaign to just raise awareness. So we build a pixel and it can be retargeted. And we might do something in the act stage where it's just someone filling out their name and email and getting some small amount of information, and then we focus on convert and engage ads that get people to actually apply to the school. And it's worked really well. I think when we switched from initially trying to sell programmatic and sell creative and say, here we have a whole bunch of new things for you to try, to switching to more of an annualized plan where the KPIs are really sold across not only the admissions and the headmaster teams, but the schools also have boards of directors as well that need to be convinced. And that goes to any type of client. We have a small health client that's owned by a $90 million company, and everything that we do, they need to understand. Non-marketing people need to understand. I think we're really good at helping people shepherd their way through doing the right thing with the right information.
Well, Marc, I appreciate you spending the time with us today, and look forward to actually bringing you on and talking more. And congratulations on being a digital champion.
Thanks, Mike. I look forward to coming out to Jacksonville and visiting you.
Absolutely. So to find out more about Northarc Media and all the amazing things that Marc and his team can do to grow your business, visit us at dailyadbrief.com. We'll see you next time on Digital Champions.